which is risky. What's going on, Bobcat?
Oh, good morning. What is going on, guys? Sorry, hi, guys.
Now, they were telling me now, I said, I'm happy that Bob is coming in. And they're like, you got to call him Bobcat. Which do you prefer?
I like Bobcat, but Bob's fine.
Okay.
See, I tried to tell you, Jim.
He did.
Prefers Bobcat. It says on the show.
Well, look, if I suddenly wanted to be known as Bob, I would go, what a douche. It'd be like when, Ricky Schroeder.
Rick Schroeder.
Rick, yeah.
Who else did that where they changed their name in adulthood to a shorter name besides Rick Schroeder?
Rick Schroeder is the one
guy?
that I think there have been other people. Rick Schroeder is the one that I feel like everybody points out, which I feel like is kind of the opposite of what you intend to happen, right? All it does is put more attention on the fact that you used to be Ricky Schroeder.
Oh, it was Prince.
Now you had we were talking about we watched your first Letterman before.
Oh,
we were watching just
right.
a minute before the show. Do you like watching yourself old stuff yourself? I can't watch myself.
I can't at all.
No.
At all. Especially by the nature. Like, I did see a little bit of that clip recently, and I'm truly. I'm not saying anything. It's like it's like A-I-O-U, sometimes Y. It's just like yeah. So I know what I was doing, but it's still kind of embarrassing.
I can't watch old stuff. It's humiliating in a weird way. It's an exposing, humiliating feeling.
But there are guys who go, yeah,
yes,
yeah, they're autistic. Anyone that can just sit there and watch themselves has Asperger's. There's something
I
wrong
did
with
it again. No, I wish we were just talking. I just did Kimmel, and the thing is now it's like you do the show, and that's not the thing. It's the clip that they make out of that appearance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I told a story that Jimmy didn't know was years ago. At New Year's he had a brownie and fell asleep probably before 10. And we're all at his house for the New Year's Eve party, and Jimmy's just asleep. And it was just weird, hey, all right. So I went and recently I'd moved and I found an Instamatic camera and I had it developed, and there's just 3 pictures from that party and then everything else is blank. And what I remembered is once he fell asleep, I went and teabagged everything in his kitchen and took pictures of my nuts, like in his creamer, everything in his kitchen. And
did you hit every egg cup in the fridge?
Yeah, it's a little thing called professionalism. No, but yeah, so that's the story they're running with. Are they plugging the new show? No, that's the thing that's out there. Me teabagging Kimmel's kitchen. But you don't tell the guy before you go on. You don't tell the segment producer.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell a story about Jimmy teabagging his cutlery.
He's like, what else you got?
How do you go from, because you were pretty notorious for a while for your late show appearances when
Yeah.
you're setting Jay Leno's chairs on fire and trashing Arsenio's
The
set?
Arsenio's show is way worse. And I had in my mind, again, I don't watch old clips. I was on a show and my friend played it and I was like, wow, that was really violent. I mean,
when you're doing the Arsenio thing?
Yeah,
because Arsenio is like, I watched the clip last night, Arsenio is like
wrestling me.
physically holding you back, and not like in a friends way.
So he got fired because he got fired basically because they put the Chevy Chase show on in front of him.
Good
Do you
call.
think Farrakhan people say because he had Farrakhan on, that was why they eventually got rid of him? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
Oh, that's it. I think it was because the syndication deal was you had to put Chevy in front of him, and so it just his ratings dropped off.
Oh,
I mean, it was that ratings juggernaut Chevy Chase.
Yeah, he had a tough time.
Yeah, being kind.
Yeah,
He did. He had a tough run of it.
it wasn't what they hoped for.
I try not to. I try not to bash people, but something about Chevy's really hard not to.
No, he sucks. He's
no,
crazy.
but you feel. I don't know. He's so unhappy. So,
well, didn't he? He's known for being on the set of Community, called Donald Glover the N-word.
Oh my God!
Did he really?
Yeah, it was like a thing.
Hindsight, being what it is, probably not the right guy to make an enemy out of Donald Glover.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that whole song is based on Chevy. This is America.
This is Chase. So Arsenio, he got dumped by Paramount, and I spray painted Paramount sucks on the backdrop, and then I spray painted Paramount Sucks on the backdrop of the set, and then I threw the cushions of the couch into the audience, and then I put my Doc Martens. I smashed this $3,000 monitor.
You're like tipping over this stuff.
Smashed it, and then I smashed the back of it, and
wow.
And then he's wrestling me, but he does get me like in kind of a hold. But then just as we're going to commercial, he goes, "Thanks, man."
Whoa!
So I was like, oh, so there's no rules.
So he knew that was going to look good.
Wow. I mean, at one point they get like a legit, and you could tell it's not a prop security guard, it's a real security guard. Real security guard is on stage, and Bobcat is just sitting there like trying to steal his walkie-talkie off of his belt. And, like,
can we see this?
And then he goes like this. He goes, he's not going to do shit. We're on video.
Wow.
Oh, really?
That's what you said.
Yeah. Well,
Were you high when you did this stuff?
No, that's the thing. Most people think that was the beauty of just a good dry drunk. That was just pure rage.
Yeah.
And it's like you could dissect it like, oh, whoa, he was taking it to the next level. It's like, no, I was just fucking up shit. You know, I was just like, I'm gonna go out there. I kind of would a little bit premeditate, like, you know, you can't you have a can of spray paint just appear. So that's why I got the arson charge on
Arsenio.
Lano. No, on Lano I got arson because it was premeditated because I brought lighter fluid with me.
Wow. Yeah, on Lano you brought you literally just got up off the chair and you set it on fire.
Well, but also I had lighter fluid in my pants, so I opened it up, and while I'm doing panel, he's like, "So what's going on?" You know, and I'm with my ass, I'm soaking the chair. I'm multitasking. No one ever talks about that. So
so you're doing it while you're sitting in it. So you had lighter fluid on your pants too.
And I open it up and I'm squirting it out of my back
purpose.
pocket. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was soaking the chair.
That's MacGyver.
I know.
That's yeah. Well, it was MacGyver because I had the lighter taped into my arm.
Wow.
So all this ends up being.
How are you not afraid of burning? Like just like striking a match or lighting it and catching on yourself.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I should have thought about that now.
That's good TV
No,
too.
he used like one of those like cooking like barbecue lighters, like the long one.
But Tim's got a good point. My pants were soaked.
Yeah,
my ass could have easily
burning
gone
your
up.
asshole on national television.
That would have been pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would have been scooting around like a dog trying to wipe its ass on a rug.
You can see it, Troy. If the only clip that I found really
It's really
good
hard
is
to find that.
Oh, if you look at the opening of Larry Sanders, where they reference it, you can see the clip because they watch it.
It's like 3 seconds, because NBC just pulled all the clips of me setting the Tonight Show on for it. But then it was
That's awesome.
But
it was so Jay was like, what happened over on Arsenio, and I was like, well, it worked. I'm here, and that's where Jay got mad actually because I said that it worked.
Yeah,
he
didn't get mad that you lit his set on fire.
I think he was mad about that too.
Yeah,
and then you actually sat on it and did the panel.
Well, because he was forcing me. He's like, sit down. Now you sit here.
Yeah, he tried to squat so his feet were on the chair, and Jay was literally like grabbing him by the ankles. You have to sit in it now. You have to sit in it. Now, how? But
I had to go to court.
Oh,
which was funny-ish because my attorney, she meets me on the stairs. And I just think go in and plead guilty.
Because it's on TV. I did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And she's like, plead not. I saw the footage.
I did.
I'm pretty sure it's me. Not unless there's a third arsonist in the grassy knoll or whatever. But yeah, so I go in, and then I had to do these commercials. Public safety announcements, and
you got a gig out of it.
Yeah, so it was good. I made dental that year. No, but it was like, it's really embarrassing. I'll do it for you. It's really embarrassing. It was. I had to go. And I never do this. All right, but I had to go. Hi, I'm Bobcat Goldthwait. I can switch back and forth, but if you're seriously injured in a fight, I just got shit chills doing that.
Why? That's really inspirational.
You had to sit there and separate the man from the character.
To
teach fire safety.
Yeah, and then I had to refilm it a couple days later because the Burbank fire marshal didn't like it.
He didn't like it?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he wants to direct. It's like
he had notes.
Yeah.
Whose premise was who comes to you with that premise and says, no, this is what you have to do?
Yeah, it was through the Burbank Fire Department. It was their thing, and they had to accept it. And it was like, you're just phoning it it in. I need a 10. You're giving me an 8. You know, so I had to refilm it.
The court probably stipulated that they have to sign off on whatever the fire safety message is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you at one point in your career, though, you were directing for Kimmel, right?
Yeah, I directed Kimmel for 3 years.
So how do you go from being like developing a reputation for destroying late night shows to being like, would you like to hire me as the director of your late night show?
I mean, that was all Kimmel. Also, ABC, you know, they never mentioned that. Hey, you know the guy who's not allowed on the other shows? Yeah, that's driving. He's
we
driving
set one
the
of them on
bus.
fire, and the other one, you know,
like,
he spray painted.
I was like Black Ops. I was going out trying to destroy the other shows.
It's like Delta hiring ISIS.
So that's all Kimmel. You know, I directed a lot of segments and stuff on the Man Show, and Jimmy wanted me to direct that show, and I went in and looked, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I think I can make it a little funnier, but it's like landing a plane in Chinese. You know, it's so."
They can't drive.
I learned terrible TV directors. It turns out. No. So then, and I was directing it when it was live. You know.
Wow.
Oh, he was going out live for how long did he do that?
It started live, and then there was it just kept going. Like it was like a 7-second delay, and then a 14-second. Then it was just different. But I mean, I've told this story before, but it's a true story. Was I'm not even being cute. The band everyone everyone hates is
Nickelback?
Yeah, okay, yeah. And when they were on, they might be nice guys, but their manager came into the booth and he's like, "Who's the director?" I go, "I am." And he's like, "Don't shoot Chad profile, only shoot him straight on." And I'm like, "Who's Chad?" He's like, "Our lead singer." I go, "Well, why can't I shoot him from the side?" They go, "Because he has a big nose." And I was like, "Okay, I won't shoot Chad profile." And the cameramen are listening to the conversation, and they're all guys, "Pussy," because he could hear me talking to the director. To the guy saying, talking to the manager saying that I wouldn't shoot it that way. So second song, on Kimmel, the second song, the show goes off the air. And so during that, I said to the assistant director, I go, "Tell me when I have 10 seconds left." She goes, "Okay." So they're doing their song. She goes, 10 seconds. And I go, "Shoot the nose." And six out of the 7 cameras snap zoom in on this guy's nose. And I made a nose. This is true story. I made a nose montage. Camera 5, camera 7, 1, 3, 2, 6, 4. We're off the air. And and the crew's now in the headset going, "Hey, man, what are we going to do now?" And I go, "I'm getting in my car." Like usually I'd do like, "Hey, Jim, great show." And I just walked out the back door.
So when you're going to make a decision like that, do you run that by Kimmel? Or
No,
is it just like, no, I trust you to do your thing?
I just would do that kind of stuff. And that was the kind of thing Jimmy and I had going, you know, where, you know, sometimes stuff would pan out and sometimes it would.
But he would probably love that.
Yeah, later on he would laugh really hard at that. But, you know, we would do a lot of, it was, I loved working on the show. You know, it was really fun doing the show.
That's amazing.
And you got rid of, you got rid of the character that you were doing in Zanies. You were on stage.
Yeah, I remember it.
What happened?
I went back on the road after doing Kimmel, and I thought I hated stand-up, but I didn't. You know, I thought it was like I hated being on the road, and I mean, it doesn't even exist that. But, you know, 10, 15 years ago, it was doing all the wacky morning shows, you know. It was brutal, you know, Taint and Teabag and South Bend, you know, and you're like, "Oh, you guys are dangerous." Ooh. Yeah. So it was horrible. It's awful. It was horrible, yeah. But it turned out I just hated doing this character, and it wasn't even hated. It was just So I made a decision that I can't go on there. I gotta be me. No, but I have to go on and be myself. And
was it worse doing the morning shows and stuff because you had to do the character for them?
At 7 o'clock in the morning, you have to gear up.
Yeah, it's just. It was just, you know, I'm sure you do this too. Like you come in and you're like, "Hi," and they're worried that you're not going to be on and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was It was exhausting.
When they're going from your Wikipedia, but I don't expect the guy to be a Jim Norton expert. But when they're like, so you're from Bayonne, it's like, where the fuck do you want me to go with that? How is that comedy fodder?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna do my Bayonne chunk.
Yeah, it's a great 5 minutes of Bayonne. No one cares. So it's hard if you have to be in character.
Yeah. So I stopped doing it, and then, but at the same time, I was directing. You know, I did a lot of directing folks aren't aware of. Like, I worked on Chappelle's show. I worked on, I just did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And then I made, while I was at Kimmel, I shot this movie for 20 grand with a crew from Craigslist that was, and it got into Sundance. And it was,
Which movie was it?
It's called Sleeping Dogs Lie. It's called Stay. It's a rom-com with a tiny bit of bestiality in it. Just a tasteful amount.
Yeah.
But
40 minutes.
But I got it. It was in Sundance. It was crazy. So when I got the call, I really thought it was Jimmy's, his cousin Sal, because Sal's the king of messing with people. But it was really Sundance. I was like, hey, this is Trevor Gross from Sundance, and your movie got in. I go, okay, Trevor, can I call you back? Like, I really thought it was Sal upstairs calling me. And he's like, yeah. And then I realized it was, I go, oh my God. So the movie got in.
So you're just one of those like eccentric paranoid weirdos. Like, I'm going to call you back to have this conversation.
No, you don't know. Sal is like, Sal, if you're eating a pizza or a box of pizza, he's got to knock it. I was watching Sal walked across the set, and you just see Jimmy cover his nuts. Not out of comedy, just because Sal's going to hit you in the nuts. I mean, it's like Pavlovian. And like Sal, there's no one who's just, there was a producer on the show. He would just take the guy's phone and put it in a glass of water. like he'd have to. He cannot do that.
He did the famous Jeff Ross prank.
What did he do?
He called Jeff Ross and told him he won Dancing with the Stars. And Jeff Ross was like, oh, my God. And then he didn't, obviously. He got on the show. And they're like, you lost. And he cried or something.
And if your email's open, he's always writing. Yeah. This is the most unprofessional place. This is my 2 weeks' notice. Tell him Sal can't. It's like a weird... he cannot. So.
I have a respect for people that will prank with things that you can't take back. Like, you know what I mean? Like the I quit emails or putting your phone in water. It's like, now my phone's ruined. Like, the joke's over, my phone's still ruined. Well, what are you doing?
And sometimes, like, we would team up on things. There was a bit that would be a celebrity was in a box on Hollywood Boulevard, and then people would come up and ask 3 questions and then try to guess who's in the box. And I don't know. I was like, Sal, I'm not into this. And he's like, yeah. They make Sal grab the people off the street. And I go, let's try to kill it. And so he's got a new contestant. And this is when we're live. And Jimmy goes, who do you have with you? And he goes, oh, it's Barry Williams. And he goes, and then I have the confetti cannons and the box opens up, and Jimmy wants to just kill both of us. I remember on my last show directing, I was like, I put a bunch of footage during the monologue, just me sitting in the audience eating a sandwich. So like after a joke, if it didn't land, I just cut to this pre-tape of me eating, looking up. But then during the commercial break. I used to wear like skirts and kilts, or I just dressed like a nut. So I wouldn't take myself serious, Like if you're in a sombrero and you're yelling at people, you are a douche. You know what I mean? Right. So if it's like, let's not forget who's wearing the Pope's mitre today. So just to keep myself in check, I'd always dress like an idiot.
Did it feel good to wear a skirt? I mean, Ed Wood was. Oh God,
yeah.
That's comfortable, right?
Oh, it's really comfortable. So in the break, I come running down.
You thinking about it, Jim?
But it sounds amazing.
It's very freeing. It's really. And people want their brains. Oh, you got a kilt on. I go, nah. This is just
a plaid skirt.
Some fat Catholic girl's skirt.
I got this at Lane Bryant, actually.
Yeah.
This is
I'm hard.
So during the commercial, I run down and Jimmy's doing his notes and I just put my junk on his desk and lift up my skirt and I go, Jimmy. And he looks up. I go, what do you think? Does this look normal? And then I run back into the booth. And it's like 3, 2, 1, and Jimmy's just staring blankly, going, and we're back.
See, this is why you shouldn't have women in a writer's room.
But Sal's, tenacious. I think the most elaborate prank I did when I was on Kimmel was with Super Dave, Bob, Einstein. So he came on the show. I never told this story publicly. He could be a bit of a curmudgeon. I like him a lot, but I was like, who was on the show? You can't remember who's even on because it's such a grind. It's like this. I'm sure you leave like, who do we have on? So Andy Dick was on the night before. So I had them buy a TV and gift wrap it, and I half unwrapped it, and I put a card and it said, "Dear Andy, you killed it again. Love the Kimmel Show." And I go, "Now put this in Dave's dressing room." he's so wound up. Who the fuck is Andy? Who was Andy that was on the show last night that got a TV? I've been on 14 times. He's just screaming. They go, it was Andy Dick. Andy Dick, name one funny thing Andy Dick has ever done. Like he's just so they go, he's really mad. I go, okay, put him out, get him out of that dressing room. And there was this tiny dressing room that had been a closet that we had put in when there was too many guests. I go, put him in the closet dressing room, and then he's on the phone yelling to his wife, "They gave Andy Dick a TV." And there's a knock on the door, and it was just a little tiny box, and it was a Jimmy Kimmel Live baseball cap, and it said, and I wrote, "Dear guest, thanks for being on the
show." You got to talk about the biggest prank of all time, Windy City Heat.
Windy City Heat, yeah.
What about, have you seen that?
No.
It's one of the funniest movies of all time.
I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the entire movie.
Unbelievable.
It's on YouTube. The controversial director's cut. Yeah, that was. I directed it, but I can't take credit because it was a sum of a lot of people's work and engineering. I mean, I'm by the time we made Windy City Heat, Mole and Don had been doing that for 11 years.
Yeah. Basically, they pranked this guy, Scary Perry.
Yeah.
And they made a movie about the prank. He thinks he's in a real movie, but the whole movie is just a prank that he thinks he's actually starring in a Hollywood film.
I'm a lot like Robert De Niro. My looks, my attitude. Yeah.
So the punchline is just this thing comes out and it's just kind of exposing that this guy thought he was in a real movie?
No,
they
it's
never break
nuttier
it.
than that. You have to see it.
It's got levels, layers.
It's like, yeah. So Perry brought a condom to the set for the love scene. And and then I yell cut and I bring in a stunt guy who weighs about 80 pounds more than him. That guy doesn't even look like me.
You got to see it. You got to see it.
I will. I was watching the first episode of the new show of Misfits and Monsters.
With Seth Green.
When I first heard about it, I was like, this is as big as like Black Mirror is on Netflix. I was like, man, to do an
anthology show.
I'm like, that's ballsy. But I watched the first episode and I loved it.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I'm sure I'm not the first person that's asked this, but the premise of the first episode, and an anthology show, it's like it's genre goes through different genres and different topics every time. But the idea is it's a voiceover guy, and the cartoon character that he voices is haunting him and following him, and it gets
Bubba the Bear.
The Bear.
It's like Cape Fear and Roger Rabbit.
Right, combined.
Where it's like. Well, why you gotta make me sound stupid? That's something funny for kids to laugh at. A stutterer, that's that. He goes, that's a tradition. Porky Pig, Donald Duck, Hugh Grant. He's like, well. He goes, he's going to send him straight to hell. He hates Bubba the Bear hates the guy who does his voice, and he tries to kill him.
And it's great. It's violent.
It gets very violent.
I didn't know that it was, I thought it was an episodic thing. Like, I had no idea that it was only one story contained.
Yeah.
So
which is
there's
awesome.
Something that happens, I'm like, holy fuck, that's the first episode. And then it made sense at the end.
That's where they're...
I'm like, they just ruined the series. What's he doing?
They're 20 minutes in. That's where they're
nowhere to go with this.
Our protagonist can't talk anymore. So,
but what I was going to ask, is it like... based on you and your...
Well, I thought it was...
Is it based on a true story?
I thought it was a little bit based on my friend Tom Kenny, who I've known since I was 6, who's the voice of SpongeBob and stuff. But then I didn't realize it. My daughter pointed out, she's my costume designer. She's like, this is about you, dummy.
That's what I kind of thought.
She really did. She was like, you really think this is not about you? It's about this character that you can't escape? And I was like, oh, yeah. But I think I'm actually the bear. Because at the end, the bear's got Seth by the neck, and he goes, "I was a bear, God damn it, and you made me in some kind of joke." And I'm like, it could be, I was a comedian, and you made me in some kind of a joke. But yeah, they're all different. You know, the one that airs tonight on True TV at 10 o'clock is it's David Koechner plays a used car salesman in the 70s, like a guy who does his own commercials, one of those kind of guys, and they run him for president, and he's like, this campaign manager says, "Is there anything we should know about you? I cheated on my first wife." "Well, that's what first wives are for. Ha ha ha. Anything else?" "Oh yeah, I'm a werewolf." And he's like, "What?" He goes, "Don't worry about it." he goes, "Anything else?" "Yeah, I ate a toddler once, but that was when I was a werewolf." "Well, no one's perfect." So they run this guy as a political candidate, and there's a cub reporter trying to break the story, and I don't want to ruin it for people, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just so great.
Interesting idea for a show. Isn't it great, too, that not being married for the... Like, you could just switch story to story. You're not going to get bored of characters.
Yeah, I hope that's what... It's just, you wonder if folks are going to turn... I hope people like the show and keep going. Because the nature of anthology shows, there's shows that you're going to watch and go, "Well, I didn't like that one." You're like, I love Black Mirror, but some episodes don't click for me as much as some of the other ones.
But the order doesn't matter. You can just go back and watch them. You don't have to watch season 1 to enjoy season 2.
Yeah, definitely. And then they're all over the place. I mean, there's like one's like I wanted to do a Jerry Lewis movie, and it's set in Dealey Plaza. It's Jerry Lewis, the Kennedy assassination. Yeah. The nutty assassin, basically. And
Duck!
Yeah. so yeah, and
so did the episode that's airing tonight, did it really just start with like watching, one of these hysterical people on the news going like, "This monster is our president," and you go like, what if the president actually was a monster?
Yeah, that was the germ of it. It's funny. It's like some of the stuff I get on, there was like, and I did a movie called God Bless America, and in a fantasy scene, we shot a baby, but there's a scene in, I shouldn't say this, but there's a scene in that Jerry Lewis episode with Josh Fadem where I was like, I think someone should probably tell me no. It was like it's a time traveling episode, and he gets to see the alternative reality. Truman gets assassinated, and we had a Nazi occupied U.S. and he's watching these clips, and there's there's a kid. It's just like, well, there's Full House, HAUS, so it's just Full House, but with all a brown shirt cast, and then there was like the Sesame Street, which was, Zig Heil, John, Zig Heil, Strudel Monster. A is for Adolf. And I got this little tiny boy, he's about 4, in lederhosen and blonde-haired kids singing A is for Adolf. And he got shy, and the whole crew and cast is like, "Come on, A is for Adolf." Yeah, B is for Blitzkrieg. And the mother goes, "You know what a Blitzkrieg is? Come on."
Just waiting for people to stop you.
Yeah, that was one where I was like looking around and I go, "All right, I guess we're doing this."
Did you ever see, and again, a few people have seen the Jerry Lewis movie where he plays the Nazi...
the day the clown died?
Have you actually seen the film?
No. It's really hard to see.
Yeah.
Because he owned it, and I think there's like, even you can't see it complete. I feel like there's a reel missing. But no, I've never seen that.
Somebody who saw that...
Nobody, I don't know.
Somebody did see it recently. They've seen the whole thing.
There was footage that came out of it.
No, but somebody saw it. I don't remember who it was. Somebody known.
Come on, who was in Spinal Tap?
Harry Shearer.
Harry Shearer, yeah. Harry Shearer, I think watched it. I don't know.
The Day the Clown Cried.
So he's a comic at a concentration
camp.
Yeah,
I guess a Jewish clown.
Who books that?
I think Barry Katz.
So I don't...
Do you find it easier, like, can you watch stuff that you write and direct more so than you can watch stuff that you perform in?
Yeah,
or is it's different?
When I'm in it, it's hard to watch. But the stuff I write and direct, obviously the process, you end up watching it over and over.
Yeah.
And last night we had a screening. It's, unlike the these small movies I make, I see those movies when they're in festivals and they're screening. So the TV show, it's been fun. We've had a couple screenings, and to sit there with a live audience to see if things are playing, you know.
When you do a movie like God Bless America.
Like Bubba the Bear, I showed that last week at a premiere, and when there was gasps and stuff,
yeah,
I hoped and I thought that the people would find the show funny, but when there's people gasping, I was happy and surprised because I'm like, Seth's okay. He's right here. He's
right.
But it was cool to see people flip out.
Yeah,
you had an interesting take too, because when about you were close to Robin, and you talked about being angry at him, which is, and people don't usually admit that when somebody kills themselves. There's also an anger effect, or you get mad or whatever it is.
But I have to say that only hit me just recently, because I went through a bunch of different stuff when he passed away. And but just lately, you know what it is like we were friends for 31 years, and sometimes he'd be gone for a long time on location or something, and we didn't, and now I'm realizing I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm not gonna see him. I'm not gonna. So I got angry, but it's weird, there's and I'm not I not out of protest, but I'm just not involved in the book and this documentary and other things just because I think we were really close because I kept a lot of our personal conversations super private. So that's, it just seems weird. I don't know. And I certainly it would be hard to watch the movie they just did of him, but I have openly say stuff sometimes. I mean, the thing is he had this thing, Lewy body dementia, which was misdiagnosed as Parkinson's. So his brain was totally attacking him, and he was getting misinformation. So he's going to a handful of doctors. He's sober. He's doing all this stuff, and he was just processing reality really weird. And I honestly didn't have a friend that I was in better contact with. We talked and texted every day, mostly, especially when he was ill. But he, in my mind, he did fight depression the whole time. We knew each other, and he was winning. I mean, that's the thing is, like, people go, "Oh, he was your friend. Did he ever talk to you about suicide?" I'm like, "We're comedians. We talked about suicide for 31 years. Sometimes we talk about other things. He'd be like, "Hey, congratulations on the Oscar." "Oh, thanks. How would you do it?" "I don't know. I think a car." "I think I'd do it in a car."
It really is a great option, isn't it? It's always there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went dark, but this was a different thing that and I miss my friend. So yeah, lately I've been a little mad at him.
Is there a part of you that, like, even though you don't want to necessarily be involved in the projects when the documentaries come out and things like that, the fact that you're not involved, that you don't need the credit for the relationship?
Well, you declined.
You don't need to.
Yeah. It's just I feel it was just like I said, like we weren't like. I mean, we were really close. We spent and so I don't really and even that. I mean, we worked a couple times on a public level, and we would do things like I was his date to the Oscars once, which was funny. Me sitting in the third row of the Oscars, people, what is dude from Police Academy doing in the third row of the Oscars? It was like a Make-A-Wish kid, I was like so excited.
I forgot you were in Police Academy until you just said that.
Wow.
I totally forgot.
Come on.
I really did.
I think I'm going to marry you.
I completely forgot.
That might be the nicest thing anyone said to me in a while. But yeah, so I was saying that I knew we were really good friends because I spent a fair amount of time bored with him. So if you think about that, just hours just doing nothing and just being real friends. Where but he would play Call of Duty for hours on end, and I'd be like, "Hey man, let's just do something." He's like, "Oh, almost," the thing which I liked was he was playing other people, and finally one day I was like, "How old are these people you're playing?" He's like, "I don't know, 12, 13. And I'm like, so I love that there's like kids like going that. the genie from Aladdin called me a cocksucker because he'd be cursing his brain. And it's not like he hit his voice. So I think that's pretty funny.
That's amazing, especially because his voice is so distinctive. Like I don't know how you.
Oh, you fucking little prick. So it would have been. I just think that's really funny. You know?
And did you see Barry Crimmins before he passed away?
Oh yeah, I was there while he passed away. It's just I'm a lot of laughs, aren't I? I held Barry, and I was there with his widow, with Helen. So through that whole process, I got to see him and talk to him before he was in the state that he was when he left. But it was. I did Call Me Lucky, the documentary on him, and now I'm going to do a narrative film with Judd Apatow where Judd and I are writing the script and I'm directing and he's producing, and we're doing a story of Barry's life, which is how I originally wanted to do it. I was going to do it with Robin, actually. And Robin was the one who said, we're all getting old. He gave me some money to start the documentary. That's how Call Me Lucky got started.
Wow.
But so Barry's just he's on his way out, and he's like, I got to talk to you. And he shuffles me into the kitchen. I think he's going to tell me to take care of his widow, or he's going to tell me he loves me. And he's like, I want Mark Ruffalo to play me in the movie. I go, I want Chris Pine. He's like, who's Chris Pine? I go, how do you know Mark Ruffalo? He goes, I really like it when he speaks at the anti-fracking demonstrations. So, it was... I've heard people talk about that it's an honor to watch someone go away, and I get it now. It was very life changing.
I've never done it where you actually know.
What are the positive?
It's about to happen, and what is the positive thing?
Well, for me, it was to be able to see him not be in pain anymore, and truly the way it was. His wife hadn't eaten, and I kind of hadn't left, so I finally convinced her to get some food, and Barry had been in a comatose for a while at this point, and I left, and he woke up and he looked at her, and she said, I love you, everyone loves you, you can go. And then he passed away, and then I get a text, come back here ASAP. So I wasn't in the room, so I thought, wow, that's pretty awesome, because that's how it was supposed to happen. He was supposed to spend that moment with her, a third wheel. Hey, what are you guys talking about? So it did kind of, I wrestle with, any kind of rhyme or reason to this universe, and it kind of made me feel like maybe there is.
Yeah, that somehow worked out the way it was supposed to. Because I saw him last year. I didn't know him, of course, that well, but we knew each other casually, and I saw him at the festival, and we talked. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even know he was ill. Yeah. I had no idea.
Oh, it came down really fast.
It did come fast, right?
Yeah. But then I come back with the sandwiches, and he's gone, and Helen's sobbing, and I just go, what'd I miss? and as I'm saying, I'm going, wow, you're saying this like
it's coming out.
Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with that.
You're sure am.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I'm going for it. And then I thought, you know what, Barry would like this. And Helen did a genuine triple take. Like she was just like she was like, is this idiot not know he's dead? Like if I was directing, I would say, that's good, but just not such a big reaction. Just a little more subtle. Just keep it small. She was like. And then we were sobbing and sobbing and laughing, and I'm thinking these doctors think we're the biggest ghouls in the world, Mm-hmm. But that's how you have to deal with this kind of stuff. I mean, right? It's
sure,
yeah.
I mean, that's how he dealt with that kind of stuff. He was, it's funny. He brought a. People were like, oh, you gotta be respectful and all this, and then I remember he brought a fart machine to my dad's funeral. so here's America's renowned political satirist, and he brought this electronic fart machine that he was just letting it fly while I'm at the not during the service, but during he could tell I was having painful small talk with somebody who I don't know, and I was in.
Always funny.
Never. Yeah, I'll never not find that funny.
No one's ever going to be object to a fart machine at a wake.
No, it's not going to happen. When you do a movie like God Bless America, and it's like a pretty biting social satire. I mean, everybody watches that, they kind of walk away getting what it was, and a lot of people saw it. I mean, and then the culture kind of just continues on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
is there any
really
part of
funny.
you that goes like, wait, but we talked about this. Yeah, I showed you what you're doing, and you really acknowledged it. Like,
it's really, I didn't think I was going to change anything, but I didn't think things would be amped up into an insane, crazier level than I kind of was predicting in that movie. It went way nuttier than I
it really
thought.
did.
Yeah, now it's kind of cute.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when things were like that.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. So it's strange to see. And then there's sometimes, folks will quote it and stuff, which is strange even too, because often when I'm writing stuff, I'm not thinking of the end product. I just kind of sit down and write, and I write a lot. I write a lot of scripts and constantly, and I don't write them under the pretense that they're going to get made. Even I just get them out of me just so.
How do you pick what you want to get made?
It's usually what I want. It's a bunch of different things. Like sometimes I'll think, I'm going to do this movie next, and then it's like a weird vibe. Like it's like, no, it's not time for the Gay Billy Jack movie. I would rather do because I wrote like it's not Billy Jack, but it's just the ass kicking Marine that gets. I'm going to have to ask you to stop using that word.
So, and do you make yourself? It's hard sometimes to sit down and write. Like I get so distracted with nonsense. How do you force it? Or is there one place you go, or are you good at just opening your laptop and going, "Fuck it, I'm going to write"?
No, I go away. I go into a hotel, go out of town, and the guilt of paying for the room, and and then I just write.
So smart.
For
That's
2 days
good.
a week. What will you do?
Yeah, like it's usually like 4 or 5 days. That sometimes I can knock out a whole script in a week, but it's just just to get it out of you, and because if I'm in Los Angeles or New York, my friends are gonna go, hey, let's go to a movie, let's go goof off,
right?
So
have you always been a person that like adjusts your atmosphere to make you do things because you have to go to a hotel, in another town or something, and that way, and paying for the hotel is what sits there and guilts you into doing this? You said when you were on Kimmel, you were wearing ridiculous outfits so that you could make it so that you're not going to take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Like, do you sit there and just figure out how to adjust your atmosphere?
I guess I do, yeah.
Can you only come with a gun pointed at your head?
That's what the question is. Yeah,
let's cut to the chase.
That's clearly where we were going.
But, I didn't realize, but I guess I do. I do make, my go-to place is, I woke up this morning and I was just, everything was horrible. And there's absolutely nothing horrible. It's just this weird thing. Like, last night...
That's starting point.
And so everything is always like, all right, well, I got to do this. So, it's just all these things that I have to just fake normalcy.
Are you good at pulling yourself out of it? Like, it's a chemical thing. Like, you wake up and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, my fucking God, this is horrible. But sometimes you can pull yourself out of it. What do you do to pull yourself out of it?
Well, I actually stop before and stop and just catch that's what I'm doing, and I really do. If I would cringe if I heard myself saying this, but sometimes it's a bit of meditation and stuff. Just because my go-to place is we're doomed,
right? And
this is going to be horrible, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm always wrong, I'm terrible at predicting the future.
Is it on a personal level for you, or is it like the world is doomed?
No, it's about me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's egocentric.
Yeah.
The other day, I have one of the last episodes of the show is animated, and I was looking at the animation, and I was talking to the animator. It was FaceTiming, and I go, boy, you guys made this really funny. You did a great job. He goes, well, everyone really likes working on this. They really, are just volunteering, and everybody's been really kicking ass. And I go, oh, why is that? Like, clearly I was fishing. And my girlfriend walks by, and she doesn't even look up. She goes, because you're amazing. It's exhausting. Life is exhausting just to not self-destruct and not be bitter and all that kind of stuff.
How long does something like that? Because that will recharge you for a moment, right? When if somebody says you're amazing, that'll be like, okay.
No, I don't know about you. When you get done with a show and do you let any of that in?
I very rarely hear it. So, yeah, it depends. If I know I had a good set, like there was times I did something recently where I was very distracted on stage. I just was feeling disconnected and depressed, and I thought it was okay. And people are like, dude, you killed. In my mind, I'm like, no, I really didn't.
Right,
yeah.
When you crush though, and you know it, yeah, I don't mind it because I know it was a good show. I feels legit. Like it was a decent.
Does it
set.
feel better to you? Like, are you like, I'd like to hear that?
Sure, it feels nice to hear it when you do it because it's the only validating thing all day.
Yeah,
right.
But you have to know it. You have to know you killed.
You have
too.
to know you killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's like it, but I think we set the bar really high. Like you said, it had to be. You know, you knew that you were present during that set.
Right.
Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird.
When you switch characters, I know we're wrapping up the show, but did you do it in the middle of a weekend, or how did you let the public know?
I started it Thursday. Yeah, and I didn't, and I made the decision honestly 10 minutes before I went on.
And how did they receive you?
They were mad.
They were. Was it a tough set?
It wasn't great, but they were like, do the voice, you know? Yeah.
Did you do it at all or no?
No, because I knew I had to.
So you did the whole hour with annoyed people going like, I'm stubbornly not going to do this voice.
But I'm sure you guys know too. It's just like the more I go, it's not going to happen,
right.
man. You know,
right.
I was like,
and how did you? Didn't it affect your timing and certain punchlines, which were contingent on a sound or a facial lead in?
Sure, yeah, or even like, oh, the punchline is that persona.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, that bit's dead.
Yeah, now you're just
I love that you did it on Thursday and said, "Fuck it, this is your weekend. Tickets sold." Shitheads.
Yeah, it was scary, but I had to, and lo and behold, I actually do sometimes enjoy doing stand up again.